So, I'll so an Irish lesbian walks into a shrink's office. Help me. I've always loved taking care of people. It's what I do. It's why I left corporate America to go find a rewarding job. And I just got hired to run a large gay rights organization. I'm their new executive director. But now I feel like I'm going to have to take care of every single gay person in America. Those of you who work with and for nonprofits, you get this, right? Feels like every decision matters. At least it did to this Irish lesbian on that particular day. Nonprofit life is intense. This was driven home for me one afternoon at a board meeting in Chicago. I'd been driving my staff pretty hard, especially my development director, Julie. Revenue numbers seemed aggressive. So in walks Julie, and I noticed that she's got these wires protruding from her blouse. She said, "Oh, don't worry, Joan, it's just a heart monitor. It's just a heart monitor. I'm having a few heart issues, but it's no big deal." What do you think happened? I sent her home. Put her right back on that next flight to LA. No. I did absolutely nothing. Julie stayed. It was actually a great board meeting. But wow. I started to refer to what happened that day as the time I almost killed my development director. Now, Julie was fine, thankfully, but I became very conscious that my leadership style was making people sick, literally. Nonprofit life is intense. I mean, think about it. When you're trying to save even a small part of the world, there's just no margin for error. A father and his toddler will sleep on a subway if you don't get the check to the landlord on time if you run a legal aid organization. And a battered wife will have no escape if the women's center in your community has no money to market, because she won't even know it exists. Nonprofit life is intense. In fact, during my tenure as the executive director at GLAAD, my staff measured my intensity level using a Starbucks metaphor. Have you seen Joan today? Oh, be careful, she's a venti. But after the Julie incident, I really woke up. And I learned 3 valuable lessons that I'd really like to share with you. Because I think, and I hope, that these lessons will make the work lives of all of you, regardless of where you work, just a bit less intense. So, number 1, focus on what actually matters. This is a tough one for my clients. So it's your annual gala. You can obsess about the centerpiece on the table, or you could sit down at that table and listen to the major donor who's been your champion for over 20 years. You know, in nonprofits, you will always be handed too many balls to juggle. The object of the game is not to drop, not to keep all the balls in the air. The goal is to make sure that you make intentional choices about which balls to drop. There are things that have to happen. There are some things that would be great to happen. The key is understanding the difference. So lesson 1, prioritize. Number 2, be a real person. So, after that Julie board meeting, there's another board meeting, and our director of IT, Asen Abel, is giving a rather dry PowerPoint presentation. Board heads are starting to nod, when all of a sudden, out of the blue, this slide appears. Please say hello to Asen's beloved poodles. That's Peyton, Harry, and William. So, after the board members stopped laughing, something happened. More focus, we got more done. And by the way, after that, I started encouraging pets to appear in all of our board presentations. So lesson 2, have fun. Number 3, finally, be a champion of purpose. So I'm working with this client. They have a legal aid services arm, and they've been having some admin snafus. One of them was an admin who left a check on a copy machine, and a landlord didn't get the rent check. I knew immediately what the problem was. That admin saw that check as a piece of paper and not as a roof over somebody's head. If he had seen and pictured a father and a toddler on a subway, where do you think that check would have gone? Research tells us that people who drive meaning and significance out of their work are more than 3 times as likely to stay engaged and stay put. And so, to my fellow nonprofit warriors, we are wearing the ruby slippers. Because in our line of work, it's all about purpose. Our board, our staffs, they need to see, feel, and understand the importance of the work that we do all the time. All the time. And by the way, the next time you're thinking about taking a donor to housing court, take the admin instead. Lesson 3, purpose. So, once upon a time, I was a venti. I thought nothing of having a staff member come into a board meeting wearing a heart monitor. But now I get it. I understand that while nonprofit life is intense, it's the really fine leader that figures out a way to manage that intensity to enable the entire team to maintain clear perspective. Because it's only with clear perspective that you all will do your very best work. And that's the quality of work that your clients need and the quality of work your clients deserve. Thank you.